Friends, the human colonization of another planet represents a leap in our cosmic exploration. Currently, the main aim of our emerging technologies and space agencies is to establish sustainable habitats on celestial bodies like Mars. The main challenge there is to adapt supporting systems, utilize resources, and survive in harsh extraterrestrial environments. Here, innovations in propulsion, terraforming, and self-sustaining ecosystems play an important role in facing these challenges. This kind of colonization can reduce the risk of being completely dependent on Earth and can further expand humanity's presence in the universe. Not only that, it can also promote scientific progress and ensure the existence of our species in facing unexpected challenges on our home planet. Friends, the search for interplanetary habitat is a symbol of humanity's resilience, curiosity, and determination to go beyond our astronomical boundaries. The colonization of Titan, one of Saturn's moons, has also long been a subject of fascination and speculation for scientists, as humanity is pushing the boundaries of space exploration. The possibilities of establishing a colony on Titan are also becoming increasingly interesting. So, will this possibility also become a reality one day? What exactly is the potential future of a Titan colony, and what challenges might we face in this process? Let's find out in today's video. But before understanding the Titan colony, let's first get to know Titan properly. Friends, Titan is Saturn's largest moon and the second largest moon in our solar system. It is mainly surrounded by a dense atmosphere made of nitrogen with traces of methane and hydrocarbons. A unique combination of organic compounds and the presence of liquid hydrocarbon lakes make it an attractive target for further exploration. One of the primary motivations for exploring Titan is the search for extraterrestrial life. While Titan's cold temperatures and lack of liquid water on its surface make traditional life unlikely there. However, scientists believe that microbial life could exist in the moon's subsurface oceans, and if this is confirmed, this discovery will have a profound impact on our understanding of the origin and prevalence of life in the universe. Titan's atmosphere is dense, primarily composed of nitrogen with traces of methane and ethane. In fact, its atmosphere is even denser than Earth's. However, Titan's gravity is quite weak. Apart from Earth, Titan is the only celestial body in our solar system, on whose surface stationary bodies of liquid substances have been found. However, these are not water bodies. Instead, these liquids are lakes and rivers of methane and ethane. Titan is a subject of interest for scientists because its atmosphere and surface contain complex organic molecules. Cassini is a National Aeronautics and Space Administration spacecraft that has studied Saturn and its moons in detail. Cassini carried a probe called Huygens. In 2005, it successfully landed on the surface of Titan. It provided a lot of valuable data about its structure and environment. Radar observations of Titan's seas revealed many mysterious features which are called magic islands. Their special feature is that they appear and disappear. This led scientists to speculate that these occur due to changes in liquid levels, waves, or bubbles. Let me tell you, Titan's surface is extremely cold, where the temperature drops to about minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, that is minus 289 degrees Celsius. It is formed with an extremely cold and dense atmosphere. Because of this, Titan appears hazy. Titan is considered a prebiotic environment, which means it has the necessary conditions for the formation of prebiotic molecules. But it lacks liquid water. Scientists are interested in studying Titan to understand those processes, which could lead to the development of life or its building blocks in environments different from Earth. So with that, let's now understand human colonization on Titan. Friends, starting a colony on Titan will be challenging, especially due to its extreme cold. As we told you, the average temperature on Titan's surface is about minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, that is, minus 189 degrees Celsius. That's why we will need advanced thermal insulation and heating systems as well as innovative solutions to go there. where even though solar energy is feasible, it will be much less efficient compared to Earth. But alternatively, nuclear power plants or the use of methane lakes on the moon as fuel sources can be considered, where efficient energy production will be important to maintain the life support system and to make organic research convenient. Ensuring a stable air and water supply will also be very essential for the existence of the Titan colony. Friends, as we all know, there is a lot of nitrogen in Titan's atmosphere. There is a lack of oxygen in it, which will require the development of a closed-loop life support system, which can recycle the breathable air and waste. It will also be necessary to establish a reliable food production system to sustain the Titan colony. Due to the absence of sunlight on Titan and limited space for traditional agriculture, alternative methods like hydroponics and aeroponics can be adopted. Combined with advanced LED lighting systems, these soilless farming techniques can provide a resource for growing crops in a controlled environment. Maintaining communication and connectivity with Earth will also be very important for the Titan colony. Considering the vast distance between Titan and Earth, traditional radio transmission will have significant delays. Therefore, to establish a dedicated communication network, relay satellites or advanced laser communication systems will be needed. This will help control the mission, ensure reliable communication, and enable real-time data transmission. The Titan colony will actually function as a scientific research and center of exploration, friends. Titan's unique geology, hydrocarbon lakes, and atmospheric conditions provide a unique opportunity to study planetary processes and astrobiology. Robotic missions and human exploration of Titan's surface and subsurface can provide valuable insights into the moon's history and a wide area of planetary science. Scientific research will also greatly help us understand what important economic aspects could be involved in the colonization of Titan. The extraction and research of methane and other hydrocarbons could provide significant benefits. Like any effort related to the colonization of celestial bodies, ethical considerations should also be taken into account. Preserving Titan's ancient environment and using its resources responsibly also holds immense possibilities for supporting human existence possibly away from Earth. However, any challenges in this effort should be addressed. The collective efforts of scientists, engineers, and policymakers can accomplish this ambitious mission. As we continue to push the boundaries of human exploration, this is the thriving Titan colony. It will remain an astonishing sight of our future in space. That region of our solar system where planets like Uranus and Neptune exist. In this region, only darkness can be seen stretching far and wide, because here the sunlight and its energy reach last compared to the other planets in the solar system. We humans have made significant progress in the exploration of the Moon and Mars, but we know very little about this region of the solar system. Because it is very far from Earth and reaching here is a challenge in itself. This dark region of the solar system is filled with many mysteries, and in this very dark region lies Pluto. Pluto is not a planet, but what exactly it is would be very interesting to know, because it is one of those bodies in our solar system about which we have very little information. But exploring it is mysterious and exciting. There was a time when Pluto was considered a planet, but in 2006, the International Astronomical Union took away Pluto's status as a planet. To find out why this happened, you can watch our previous video. You'll find its link in the description below. In this series about Pluto, we have already learned a lot of information about it. But colonizing Pluto is not going to be easy. When we think about it, we will be faced with a mountain of challenges and questions. And here, we will try to find solutions to these questions and challenges, even if those solutions are hypothetical. If we want to use today's technology to go to another planet outside Earth, the closest one we will find is Mars. To reach there, we will have to cover a distance of 54 million kilometers, and with today's technology, it will take us about 7 months to cover this distance. Now just think about it, even to reach our neighboring planets, it is taking us months. Now imagine how much time it would take us to reach that dwarf planet whose distance is not in millions of kilometers but in billions of kilometers. Yes, you heard it right. This is the distance between Pluto and Earth. 5.3732 billion kilometers. New Horizons reached near Pluto on July 14, 2015, and it took more than 9 years to get to Pluto. Now, in the past few years, space technology has developed a lot compared to before. But even now, it still takes us 8 to 9 years to reach the last few planets of the solar system. Forget about space missions, even the fastest thing in the universe, which is light, can't easily reach Pluto. The light coming from the sun takes about 5 hours to reach Pluto. Colonization can't be finished in a single mission. Whenever we talk about colonizing a planet, the first thing we consider is humans living there, like building places to live. These places could be constructions built on that planet, or they could be space stations orbiting around that planet. After building places, we arrange for some essential resources to keep the human race alive. This can't be the work of just one space mission. The work of colonizing Pluto will continue for several decades. The goal will be to build a human settlement here. Whenever a human sets foot on Pluto's surface for the first time, their struggle to survive will begin immediately. Pluto's atmosphere, made up of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, is enough to suffocate the human body. First of all, we will need to develop technology that allows us to survive on this planet for a long time. We will have to make our astronaut suit technology even more advanced, and if we want to survive on Pluto, we might have to make the astronaut suit a part of our body. This sounds very strange and even a bit scary, but the real scary thing is yet to come. There is a small town in Russia called Oymyakon, where the temperature drops to minus 50 degrees Celsius. People live here too, but their lives are not that easy. Such low temperatures severely affect the human body. Now just imagine if this temperature is taken even further into the negatives and a human body is placed in it, what would happen? Minus 240 degrees Celsius is the temperature you would find on Pluto. Our dream of colonizing Pluto will only come true when we develop the ability to keep our bodies alive at this temperature. Here, we would be challenging the laws of biology. If we have to fight Pluto's cold temperatures, then either we will have to terraform this entire dwarf planet or build some kind of base, where the temperature is higher compared to the rest of the planet. At least high enough so that we can keep ourselves alive. The very first challenge of going to another planet is survival. If our bodies can survive and function properly on Pluto or any other planet for a considerable amount of time, only then can we think about building a settlement there. Because right now, we are just going through an imagination. Let's also assume that we have developed such technology that can keep our bodies alive in Pluto's environment for a long time. Here, our first challenge, which is survival, we have achieved a hypothetical victory over it. What will be the next step? Next, we will have to start construction to establish settlements on this planet. Now, even here, we have two big challenges ahead of us. First of all, the surface of this planet, and second, the gravity, are the two things we have to deal with. Any construction on the surface of this planet will have a hard time staying put. Forget about construction, even we ourselves will have a hard time staying on this planet. Because the gravity here is only 8% compared to Earth. If your weight is 50 kilos on 4 kilos, Apart from gravity, the second challenge we will face is its surface. Its surface is made up of 98% nitrogen ice. Building on such a surface with such low gravity is not going to be easy. How a base will be constructed for humans to live in such an environment is something we might find out in the future, when space exploration and human technology have developed a lot. For now, doing this is considered science fiction. But if somehow a base is established on Pluto, it would be a huge milestone in space exploration. In that case, Pluto could enable our interstellar exploration. Maybe in the future, we will be able to establish our observatories on Pluto itself. With this, we will be able to learn about the Kuiper Belt and the worlds beyond it in a better way. Mars has always been a story of fascination, fear, and wonder for humanity. From ancient myths to modern science and fiction, the Red Planet has always shaped our imaginations. A frontier of exploration, and perhaps even a dream of creating a new world for us humans. Recent advancements in space technology, along with ambitious plans from space agencies like SpaceX and National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the idea of colonizing Mars now seems much more like a real possibility than just a beautiful dream. But would colonizing Mars be a smart move for humanity, or is it one of those dumb ideas that we shouldn't pursue? The prospect of becoming a multi-planetary species definitely excites us, but there are many reasons that raise the question, is Mars really the best choice for human colonization as a multi-planetary species? We will discuss in detail the scientific, ethical, and practical challenges involved in building a human colony on the Red Planet. And we will try to understand whether it would be better to focus our efforts on Earth itself or on Mars. Let's go on this mysterious journey to Mars, where we will critically evaluate the dream of Mars colonization and find out if humanity's future is on the right path. Mars hostile environment. The first reason that obviously makes the idea of colonizing Mars a bad idea is this planet's incredibly hostile environment. Mars may look a bit like Earth in photos, but the reality is that the world of Mars is extremely dangerous, which presents major challenges for human survival. Mars is a cold planet. Its average surface temperature, the temperature stays around -62 degrees Celsius, and at night it drops even further to around -125 degrees Celsius, especially near its polar regions. It would be very difficult to maintain a habitable environment for humans in such extreme temperatures. In this cold world, we have to do a lot to keep our habitats warm and protect our equipment from freezing. Besides this, compared to Earth, Mars has a very thin atmosphere, which is mostly made up of carbon dioxide. Traces of oxygen and nitrogen are present in very small amounts. Mars's atmospheric pressure is under 1% of Earth's, which will make the conditions here even more challenging. No human will be able to roam freely on this planet without a spacesuit. To create a breathable environment, sealed habitats will be needed where life support systems will produce oxygen and maintain air pressure. This makes the colonization effort even more complex and costly. We know that on Earth, water is the foundation of our life. But Mars has a major shortage of liquid water. Most of the water on Mars is in the form of ice, or it has mixed with the soil there. Extracting this water will be a big challenge in itself, which will require advanced technology and a lot of energy. Without a reliable water source, sustaining a human colony would be almost impossible, even if we are able to meet the energy needs of the Mars colony. Still, the challenges of living on Mars are not over. Mars has neither a global magnetic field nor a thick atmosphere, which would protect our people there from cosmic radiation and solar particles. This radiation will create a serious health issue for humans. The risk of cancer will increase among the colonists, and it can damage their tissues. And it can even cause neurological effects and serious changes in their DNA. To protect the settlers from radiation, habitats will have to be built underground or covered with thick layers of regolith. This makes building a colony on Mars even more difficult and expensive. So, in such conditions, we will have to survive on Mars. Living on Mars will bring a new challenge for humans every day. So far, we've only talked about the conditions on Mars. But even worse than that are the terrifying natural disasters that can occur there. Mars is known for its massive dust storms which can cover the entire planet. These can last for weeks or even months. These storms can even block sunlight from reaching Mars. Because of this, the effectiveness of solar panels decreases and power generation becomes difficult. The fine dust carried by these storms can get into our equipment and habitats, creating mechanical problems. Looking at these challenges, it's clear that Mars is far from being an ideal environment for humans to live in. The planet's extreme conditions make living here quite difficult and dangerous. And to deal with these, we would need such advanced technology and resource investment which doesn't seem realistic in the near future. Apart from environmental challenges, the idea of colonizing Mars also brings immense cost and risk which need to be considered carefully. Establishing human presence on the Red Planet demands massive investment in terms of resources, time and money, and there is no guarantee of success. Sending humans to Mars and building a self-sustaining colony would be one of the most expensive endeavors in human history. For a crewed mission, estimates suggest that the cost could range from tens of billions to hundreds of billions of dollars. It will also depend on the scale and scope of the mission. But building a colony here will demand even more funding, technologies, and the development of infrastructure. This cost will mostly be covered by governments, private companies, or through the collaboration of both. But here on our Earth, we also have many serious issues like climate change, poverty, and healthcare. Some people argue that these funds could be better used to solve these problems. Investing in Mars colonization diverts resources from more urgent needs, which somewhere forces us to think, would this even be fair to us Earthlings? Creating a Mars colony will require advanced technologies which either do not exist yet or we are still in the very initial phase of them. Without thinking about them, we can't take even a single step forward. It may take years or even decades to develop these technologies, and even then, there is no guarantee of success. There are also logistical challenges in addition to technological ones. Transporting equipment, supplies, and people to Mars won't be possible without multiple launches and a robust supply chain, with each launch costing millions of dollars. If there is any failure or delay in the supply chain, it will become a major risk for the survival of the colony. This shows how living on Mars will make human life uncertain. Living on Mars is still a distant dream, but even reaching Mars will bring us many challenges. The journey to Mars or even living on this planet will put astronauts' health at risk. The trip to Mars will take 6 to 9 months. In this, astronauts will be directly exposed to microgravity and cosmic radiation. Staying in microgravity for such a long time, it will cause muscle loss, bone loss, and other health issues, while radiation exposure will increase the risk of cancer. Even after landing on Mars, astronauts will have to face radiation, extreme temperatures, loneliness, and the psychological challenges of staying in one place for a long time. Due to the lack of medical facilities and the difficulty of returning to Earth in an emergency, these risks become even more serious. There are also several ethical concerns associated with the idea of Mars colonization. One major concern is the impact of human settlements on the Martian environment, as Mars is currently barren, where we have not yet found any signs of life. But along with humans, other organisms like bacteria will also reach Mars. For one, we don't know how these could mutate in the Martian environment and what kind of threat they could pose to us. And besides this, they will also contaminate the Martian environment, which could cause major problems in our future scientific research. Also, sending humans to such a planet where there is no guarantee of survival raises an ethical question as well. Some people argue that sending people into such a dangerous and uncertain environment would be irresponsible. At the same time, humans will start exploiting the resources on Mars once they reach there. Is it justified to make so many sacrifices? One of the biggest fundamental criticisms of Mars colonization is the lack of a clear and compelling purpose. Although the idea of becoming a multi-planetary species sounds appealing, it's unclear what the practical benefit of Mars colonization would be. Compared to Earth, Mars doesn't have the resources and conditions needed to support a large-scale human civilization for a long time, and there's no point in establishing a permanent presence in such a place. Some people say that the primary motive for Mars colonization is just symbolic. The desire to prove that human civilization can achieve something big and ambitious. But without a clear and feasible goal, it's very difficult to justify the immense cost and risk of this endeavor. Considering these factors, it's important to think about whether our efforts and resources could be better used elsewhere. Instead of focusing on Mars colonization, we could address the challenges on Earth. Or we could invest in space exploration, other settlements, or exploring feasible options. Alternative options for space exploration. Despite so many drawbacks of Mars colonization, we still have many alternatives for space exploration and settlements, which are more feasible in the near future and also provide us with immediate benefits. Establishing a human presence on the moon offers a promising alternative to Mars colonization. The moon is quite close to our Earth, which makes reaching it easy and cost-effective. A trip to the moon takes only a few days, whereas reaching Mars takes us 6 to 9 months. Because it's so close, supplying and supporting a lunar colony becomes much easier. And many of the risks associated with long-duration space travel are also greatly reduced. The moon also offers us valuable resources like water ice, which can be used to make drinking water, oxygen, and rocket fuel. A lunar colony could serve as a stepping stone for exploring Mars and other planets in the future. Another alternative is to make space stations habitable either in Earth's orbit or in other locations in the solar system, such as Lagrange points. These space stations could serve as a good platform for scientific research, manufacturing, and tourism, and could also become a base for lunar, Martian, and space exploration. If you look at it, space stations have many more advantages over planetary colonies. They can be located in environments where temperatures are stable and there is constant sunlight, essential for solar power generation and energy needs. They can also be easily resupplied and maintained, which reduces many of the risks associated with long-duration space missions. Instead of colonizing planets, we can also focus on mining asteroids to extract valuable resources. Many asteroids are rich in metals and minerals such as iron, nickel, platinum, and gold, which can be used for manufacturing and construction. Asteroid mining can provide a sustainable source of raw materials for space exploration and can also reduce reliance on Earth-based resources. This can also help prevent deforestation and other forms of exploitation on Earth. Asteroid mining can help develop essential technologies and infrastructure for future space colonization, such as in situ resource utilization and advanced propulsion systems. Finally, some people believe that our efforts and resources could be used to address Earth's challenges instead of the Mars colonization project. So this can also make Earth better. Issues like climate change, the environment, poverty, and inequality all require attention. By focusing on the economy, we can build a better society which will be beneficial for all of humanity. Investing in renewable energy, conservation, and social programs can be more impactful for the well-being of our planet and its inhabitants than colonizing Mars. The idea of colonizing another planet has captured the imagination of many people. But it's important that we take a step back and first critically evaluate whether this is the right path for humanity. Extreme temperatures, thin atmosphere, lack of liquid water, and radiation exposure make it very difficult and challenging to build a sustainable colony here. There are also concerns about how human settlements could affect Mars' environment and the ethics of exploiting its resources. Instead of focusing on this, we should focus on Earth itself. There are many ways to expand our understanding of space and the universe without the high cost and risk of colonizing Mars. It depends on us what we choose for the future of our humanity and our planet. Yand, a world 384,000 kilometers away from our Earth where countless mysteries are buried. It is the only place in our universe where we humans have been able to go beyond this Earth. From our ancestors to today, we have always been amazed by the moon, and the race to reach it has made the moon a topic of discussion all over the world. Today, all countries want to reach the moon. Whether it's America, China, Russia, or India, these countries are focused on landing on the moon and uncovering its mysteries. But friends, have you ever wondered what the world of the moon is really like? Are there seas there? And what secrets are buried in the craters present there? Could there be aliens there? We will find answers to all these questions in this video today. Today, we will travel from Earth to the moon. But before starting this unique journey, make sure to subscribe to our channel. First of all, we have to choose a route to go to the moon. Do we want to reach the moon in 43 days like Bharat's Chandrayaan 3 or like America's Apollo 11? Do we want to go to the moon in 3 to 4 days? Clearly, we choose the 3 to 4 day trip because no one would want to spend 40 days in such a small space inside a space capsule. In 3 to 4 days, we will be on the surface of the moon and we will be at a historic place. We would like to land at Tranquility Base where the first manned moon mission landed. As soon as we land, there will be a whole new world in front of us and we will want to see every inch of it. We'll see a beautiful view ahead, but the reality will be just as terrifying. As we step out of the lander, we will see the Eagle lander right in front of us. With which Neil and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon. If you look around, you'll only see endless barren land. The moon's surface, silver in sunlight, is rough and uneven. There are small and very large craters everywhere. This landscape will scare you to your core. You would never want to go to such a place alone. As soon as you land there, you'll realize that your weight has decreased a lot. First, you'll be wearing a spacesuit, so because of the pressurized air inside, you won't be able to operate normally. And second, the gravity there. Because of the lower gravitational pull, you'll be less attracted towards the surface of the moon. That's why hopping is a better way to move around. So you can move around on the moon, but the biggest danger for you there could be the moon's soil. The moon's soil is very fine, like powder, and this soil sticks to the spacesuit. You have to be very careful here that this soil doesn't get into the moving parts of your spacesuit. This can cause damage to your spacesuit and it can be very dangerous. When you are too far from your lander, it can be dangerous. The astronauts who went to the moon said that when they returned to their lander after working on the moon's surface, they smelled something like gunpowder. It could be coming from the same moon dust that had stuck to their spacesuits. But when the moon rocks were brought to Earth, none of them had that smell. And now this has become a mystery and you have to uncover this mystery. If you're very excited to go to the moon and just want to walk around, even then you're heading towards danger. There is danger with every step on the moon. If you move forward too fast, you won't be able to stop easily. And if suddenly a crater appears in front of you, Where there's only darkness, believe me, before going into that darkness, you'll have to stop no matter what. Because that's not just darkness, it's real death. Entering that darkness exposes you to temperatures as low as -200 degrees Celsius and you'll be trapped there. No suit will be able to save you and no other force will be able to protect you there. You'll freeze right there and won't be able to move even a little bit. So every step on the moon has to be taken very carefully. Looking up, you can feel happy seeing the Earth and be thankful that humanity lives on a planet like Earth. And looking at the rest of the dark sky, you can feel fear and boredom. The sky on the moon is black because there is no atmosphere on the moon, where light can reflect or refract as often happens on Earth. But the terrifying sky of the moon won't just scare you, it can also become a big problem. Do you know why there are so many craters on the moon? The answer is that the moon doesn't have any atmosphere. That's why all the small asteroids roaming in space end up crashing into the moon because of its gravity. Because there is no atmosphere, they reach its surface directly. Whereas on Earth, because of the atmosphere, any asteroid burns up and gets destroyed before reaching the surface. But on the moon, we don't have any such protective shield. That's why these asteroids can become the biggest threat to any astronaut on the moon. No one knows when or which asteroid might come and collide with us. Just understand that the moon will try to take your life in every possible way, from every direction. And you have to do everything you can to survive there. Going to the moon is a mission, but in reality, it's a battle between nature and humans. Nature and humans each win sometimes, but humans make full preparations to ensure they stay completely safe there. But there's one more thing that will shake you to your core. And that is, even if you want to call someone by shouting on the moon, you can't do that either. If for some reason the gadget attached to your spacesuit doesn't work, you won't have any way to contact your team. And this really makes us think that the moon is truly very dangerous. Many times we hear that there are aliens on the moon. But National Aeronautics and Space Administration has always denied this. Astronauts have noticed some strange things on the moon several times, but National Aeronautics and Space Administration didn't pay much attention to those things. Yes, it's possible that there is some form of life on the moon which might be frozen in the water collected in the moon's craters. And this also makes us feel afraid that if we ever try to extract and use the frozen water from those craters, we might end up turning the moon into a graveyard for ourselves. The moon is still just as dangerous for us today as it ever was before. We have to evolve ourselves and uncover its mysteries. And only then will we be able to truly understand the moon. But until then, the moon will remain a mystery for us. Friends, what do you think about this? Are we ready to go to the moon and build colonies there? Are we ready to live there forever? Please do share your suggestions with us in the comment section. Friends, if you like this video, then do share it with your friends as well. Friends, for more such informative videos, make sure to subscribe to our channel and enable the bell notification.